Hi, everybody. I'm Sean Harry with the Small Business Development Center at Portland Community College. And today I'm talking with Bruce Melzer, who is one of my colleagues. And Bruce is a member of our Capital Access team, and he knows all about money, about cash. And this is a challenging topic because right now, with the business environment being so up in the air, unsettled, managing cash is probably maybe even more important. I mean, managing cash is always important, but it may be more important now than ever. So Bruce, hi, welcome.
Hi, Sean.
So what is cash management? Why is managing cash important?
Managing cash is important because cash is basically the story of your bank account. How much do you have to cover your bills, to pay yourself, to pay your employees, and to keep your company going? Especially in tough times, cash is king. Your profit and loss statement may show that you're making a profit, and you can be making a profit on paper and still go belly up because you don't have enough cash in your account to pay your bills. So
Yeah,
cash management is the way to control that and to keep an eye on that.
I get that statement a lot from clients who say, my P&L, my profit and loss statement says that I'm making money, but when I look at my bank account, there's no money there.
And part of that is because of the periodicities and the timing of businesses and whatever business you're in. You may make a sale today, but you may not get paid in 30 days. And so, you still are spending all that money, keeping your staff going, buying supplies and the rest of that. But that sale, that big sale that you just made isn't coming in yet. And so that's how you can make a profit on paper and still get yourself into trouble.
And still not have any money. Yeah. Yeah. So what are some of the components then, Bruce, of managing your cash for a small business?
Well, the first thing is that you have to have a handle on your numbers. You have to be getting good, accurate, timely financial information. If you've got a bookkeeper, your bookkeeper should be, within the 15th of the following month, you should be getting good numbers. If you're doing it yourself, stay on top of it. But whatever you do, there are three key components to your financial statements: your profit and loss statement, your P&L, your cash flow statement, and your balance sheet. And the two that we really care most about at the moment is the P&L and the cash flow statement. So the profit and loss statement tells how much your top line is, how much revenue you've got coming in. Obviously, in this time, you're trying to do everything you can to boost that, or if you're constrained, to try to preserve that. And then the next part of that is your cost of goods. So in terms of managing cash, how, can you cut your expenses? Can you cut your cost of doing what you're doing? Negotiate, but do everything you can to reduce your expenses and to manage that. And also, what are the terms that you're paying your expenses? Are people giving you terms? Are you having to pay net 30, which is great, so you got 30 days of using somebody else's money. Can your suppliers give you longer terms? Can you negotiate with them and say, hey, things are tight right now. Can you give me 45 days or 60 days or something like that?
We have another colleague, Rob Campbell, down at Clackamas Small Business Development Center, who says, the goal is to get the money in this pocket as fast as you can and hold on to it as long as you can before you let it go out this pocket, right? So cash in, hold on to it, cash out slowly, get it in fast, and let it go slow.
Exactly, other people's money. And also, when you are selling stuff, what kind of terms are you giving to other people? Can you shorten those? And what are your accounts receivable? How fast are people paying you? So an important part of cash is to try to make sure that you're getting paid promptly and that you're invoicing people promptly and that you're on top of people who are paying late and communicating with them a lot. So, other people's money, in that case, your accounts receivable, other people are using your money. And your goal, again, is to get that money in as fast as you possibly can. Very, very important for cash management.
Mm-hmm. And so can you give us some tips on how to do those things? You said invoice, get your invoices out there quickly and collect that money faster, but what other kind of tips can you give us?
Well, keep an eye. I mean, the thing you really have to look at is your cash flow statement, your statement of cash flows, which shows money in and money out on every end. And that's the thing that you have to be tracking. Some of the things that you should be doing are, manage your expenses, negotiate like crazy, cut whenever you can, purchase less, match your purchases to your inventory, try not to hold a lot of inventory. Um, Other things you can do.
Hey, talk about that holding inventory for a second, because a lot of times we get this idea that, hey, if I buy a bunch of this, I can buy it for cheaper, right? But then if it's sitting on my shelf in my back room, it's not making me any money, right? So talk about that for a second, will you?
Well, inventory is money that's spent, that's sitting there. And so the faster you can turn that, the shorter you can lead those times. I mean, major corporations, major manufacturers do just-in-time delivery. They have no inventory of their parts. And that is because they don't want that money sitting out there just in the back room, collecting dust, not earning you anything. So anything you can do to turn your inventory faster, buy less of your raw materials, understanding that you may get breaks on things. So it's a balancing act, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to make sure that you don't over purchase, especially in times like this, and try to understand the business cycles, obviously business cycles are completely whacked now.
Right.
So in the old days, but when are your peak months? When are your slow months? In any business, maybe that come January, no matter what business you're in, even before COVID, January was a dead month. Well, be sure that you don't overbuy for January. And if you know that you're going to ramp up in the spring, make sure that you don't overbuy then, but you're well positioned for the spring.
Hmm. And even if you can save a few pennies on buying something now, this may not be the time to do it if you want to hold on to your cash, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then also, just think about your collectibles. Make sure that sending out invoices is your top priority. Make sure those
Oh,
bills are going out. Make sure they're going out on time. Give people your direct deposit information. Send self-addressed stamped envelopes if they're people who pay by cash,
uh,
people who pay by check.
yeah.
But, and then if people are late, if you've got grace periods, shorten those down and communicate to people who owe you money. And thank the people who are paying you on time. You may even decide to give a discount to somebody who pays early. If somebody pays you within 10 days, maybe you give them a 2% break or something like that. Or,
Yeah.
and also like look at your credit card fees. Can you get people to pay you by check instead of by credit card? If you're in a retailer like a coffee shop or something where people are buying small amounts of money, ask them to pay cash instead of, so you don't have to pay the credit card fees. That's kind of a trade-off. You need to know your customers, but it's easy enough to whip out a credit card. But if you can get them to pay cash, it's a way of reducing your expenses.
Can folks give a cash discount in that regard? Something like that? Like if you're going to pay by credit card, it's this price, but if you give me a cash discount, it's 1% less, or that.
For large businesses sometimes do that. You'll see it more frequently for smaller business that say any charge over $5, any charge under $5, we're going to charge you 50 cents if you charge $4. So it's more like penalizing people. But for other suppliers, for you can look at your business and how you're selling and what your patterns are and who your customers are. But it may make sense to give somebody a discount to pay that money quicker. In the construction industry, when sometimes lumber yards and other places used to, they used to sell on net 30, but they would let contractors take a 2% discount if they paid within 10 days or something like that.
Well, that sort of buys into this the concept that everyone is dealing with, cash management right at the moment. And so if you give me a discount, right, you're helping me manage my cash. You're helping me hold on to my cash. So that's a win-win kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's less than you're going to pay interest at a bank if you had to borrow the money.
Oh, that's true.
So it's it looks like you're getting a little bit less, but if you had a line of credit and you were drawing down on your line of credit to be able to make your payroll, and instead somebody else could pay that big fat invoice, and you get and you can get that today, then maybe that's money you don't have to draw on your line of credit, and so you're saving money on your interest on your line of credit. And also make sure that you have your financing in place. And these are tough times, But if you can get a line of credit from a bank, if you have credit cards, if you can roll those over into zero interest cards, and there are a lot of zero interest cards for businesses out there, but anything you can do to sort of, cut your financing costs and making sure that you've got some little backstop will also help.
Cool. Well, what kind of tools are you seeing people use to manage their cash these days, Bruce?
Well, the most important thing is, the three financial statements, the three components of the financial statement. So your P&L, your cash flow statement is essential. And if you don't have one, then we have sample ones that you can fill out. And also you could go on, you can use Google cash flow statement, and there are Microsoft Excel templates. The other important thing about cash management, we haven't spoken about this yet, is trying to look forward, is project out what's going to happen with your cash. Just don't look through the retrospectoscope. Don't just look at the history and what your bank account has been, but actually look at your business, look at the cycles of your business and the components of your business and the timing of the elements of your business, and actually draw yourself out a projection for, here's what I think my revenue is going to be, and here's what I think my costs are going to be. And the model that we have or that other people have, if you have that, that'll then see what happens to your bank account. And so you can see, oh no, come March, I'm really, my spending's ramping up because I've got to go into production on something. Come March, I'm going to be crunched. So what can I do now to make sure that March, I can pay my bills in March? So actually projecting forward, and it's a guesstimate, but you can use these numbers and sort of create scenarios and say, if my sales drop 50%, what happens to me? If my sales go up 25%, what happens to me? But start to try to look into the future based on what you understand historically. And that will be very, very important in terms of managing your cash.
Historically, but also, I mean, it really is looking in a crystal ball right at the moment, right? Because COVID has sort of made these times so unsettling for everybody.
Right, but we know what shutdowns look like. So it's like, what happens if I have to go through another shutdown? Okay. What happens if I have to go through, what happens if the shutdown is not 4 weeks? What happens if it's 10 weeks? Then what do I look like? I mean, if you're going to get yourself into really deep trouble in 10 weeks, better to know that now than 10 weeks down the road when you spent a pile of money. And so, again, it may be painful. You may not like what you see, but at least it will give you some indication of, there's a great quote from Dwight Eisenhower that says, plans are useless, but planning is invaluable. So it's going through that exercise of understanding your business and trying to think about what will happen that will let you, see both the opportunities and the trouble spots down the road.
Cool. Well, thank you. Any other tools that you might recommend?
No, I think it's really get to know your numbers. And that's the most effective thing you can do as a business owner and manager. And that's and if you don't understand them, have a good bookkeeper, get a good accountant, somebody who can explain it to you and can work with you and can help you guide this. There's lots and lots of help out there. We at the SBDC can help with this sort of thing, but having a good advisory team and good people who you can count on to help navigate through this, because you're not alone, and there are people out there who have the skills to help you do it. And so,
well, speaking of that, you're one of those people that we can reach out to, right?
Yes, I am. I work on the capital access team. We work on helping people get access, and we help advise businesses on a lot of this stuff.
So to remind our viewers, the people that are watching this, that in order to get in touch with you or with me or any of our advisors, we go to OregonSBDC.com.
.org.
Oh, excuse me. OregonSBDC.org/Portland.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll put that in the somewhere down here. So,
great.
All right, Bruce. Well, listen, thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us about cash management today. I really appreciate it. And you'll probably be seeing some of our viewers come your way, or at least come to talk to your colleagues about helping them figure out what they can do right now to manage their cash so that they can stay afloat during these challenging times.
We're here to help them. Hang in there.
Awesome.